as we pause for a time of meditation, understanding that meditation is atonement, a time of surrender, a time of listening, of a deeper presence. I invite you to be aware that you're being breathed. Something greater than you is circulating the blood, oxygenating the cells. So present to the body and clear that you are not the body. Imagine that you're standing in a crowd of people you love, or knuckleheads even, people that kind of bristle, cause bristling. But imagine that you're there, that there's a presence, a divine presence with you, your spiritual teacher, whoever that is, Jesus, Buddha, Kuan Yin, whoever is your spiritual teacher. Know that they're there with you as you stand in this crowd of people. And as you listen to their I want, I need, you should, you shouldn't, you should, you shouldn't, let's, oh no, not that. Oh, you listen to humanity's wanting, needing, shoulding, the angst, sea of suffering, a sea of pain, of arguments, conflict. That's part of the humanness. And you are able to observe it, not absorb it. That you have a heightened capacity to observe, not absorb. What that would be like. Not denying the pain, including the pain. Pain's included, suffering's included. Loss, angst, conflict is included. And I have another option about how I relate to it. You have another option about how you relate to this. Imagine what that would be like. Invite you in silence or aloud to affirm that the presence and the power and the one presence that is God is you. Inherent in you, innate in you, breathing you. And that presence of God is uppermost for you. It is priority for you. It is highest in your consciousness. It is the deepest of your heart. That even though you see these circumstances in humanity, you understand what is true for you, what is true about you. That you're on a solid spiritual foundation. You know what you can do something about, you know what you can change, you know what you cannot change. You're wise in the difference. So imagine being in the mind, as the mind of the enlightened masters, as the mind of Jesus, as the mind of the Buddha, as the mind of a world leader. That understood that Our words quicken spiritually. That was about the source's business. Who would you be in the world? Who would you be? What would your life look like? Grounded in this Christed consciousness, glorified, rooted in its presence and understanding. What would that be like? Be still. Be still and know. Be still and know. And be freed and freer in the knowing. Know the truth. And the truth sets you free. Be still and know God. Big deep breath. In this day, in this time of meditation, in this time of awakening, some of our work is done. So be it. Blessings always and always. MarthaCreek.com to contact. Hello, Unity friends. My name is Reverend Martha Creek. You can contact me, MarthaCreek.com. That has my email, my contact information, my phone number, as well as hundreds and hundreds of videos and podcasts and interviews with various new thought leaders and evolutionary leaders. And it's all offered to get empowered teachings to the whole of the planet. So feel free to do that. Today, I want to look at this time that we're in, particularly this spring season, and to look at coming back to life, awakening from our more deceptive, instinctual, limited ways of the mind, the animalistic mind, and going into the upper room of our mind, which we're taught to do in unity and in new thought, to live into a Christed consciousness and to awaken this so that we then find a way back to this upper room, that we find a way through some of these limitations and find a way from some of the grief that we have from this illusion of separation and the delusion of separation that we live under naturally as part of our humanness. So this journey that we're in is to bestow a deeply felt, I believe, a deeply felt and exquisitely expressed life, love, faith, will, zeal, imagination, order, understanding, our inherent powers, all 12 powers and beyond that. And that to do that, to live and integrated in that power that's innate and inherent in us, it requires us to grow up some and to grow in consciousness, to learn new ways to include that pain is a part of our human learning processes. So there's no life, there's no person that's going to live in this physical world without some pain, without loss, without suffering, without some regrets, without some angst. So to learn then to grow ourselves into an integration that I can accept that there's going to be pain. I accept there will be some suffering. And I'm developing through my own innate and inherent powers new and powerful, causative, creative ways to be with this. And not only to go through it, but to grow through it. So then, as I do this, my heart gets fuller, my heart gets more restored, my heart gets bigger, more stable, more in atonement, more in alignment with the Christ consciousness, so that I'm able not only to feel pain and that, but I'm also able to feel delight or joy or grace, providence or gratitude. And that this notion that we can bypass these what we call negative feelings is absolute delusion. So instead of this 2,000 more years of denying this, to say, I'm going to discover this, I'm going to discover through this how these losses, how this change, how these disappointments, frustrations, traumas, whatever it has been, has given me, is given me, and has given me very direct, unique opportunities to develop my own Christ consciousness, to develop a deeper and fuller experience of life, of God, of source, of universe, whatever you want to call it. And then to know that we are not built to do this alone. That's why we have communities and tribes and colleagues and familial support in some cases, to say that this then is not a journey that we take alone, that this is something that we do in spiritual practice, in devotion, and in an absolute understanding of that it is a direction we go in for life, not a tick box exercise or a destination where one day we just arrive here. So I'm using a quote today regarding our potential for this, and making some choices. If you believe in free will, I'm not asking you to, but to look to see if you do, how are we exercising that free will? So this is a quote from Charles Fillmore. The spirit of wisdom is right now a part of the consciousness of everyone. The spirit of wisdom is right now a part of the consciousness of everyone. The spirit of wisdom is a part of your consciousness, a part of my consciousness. It is in you. It is in me. It is in you and about you. It is in you and through you. It is in me and about me, through me. And you take nothing away but this, you will come into conscious relationship with this. You will come into conscious relations with this spirit of wisdom when you believe it, and when you believe and know its powers. So it may take, for me, it takes some WORK, maybe for some of you too. If we ignore it, deny it, if we ignore it and deny that it exists in me, if you ignore and deny that it exists in you and that it exists for you, you remain in darkness. You remain in lack, limitation, and ignorance. Me too. The spirit of wisdom is exactly the one power and the one presence that is all of creation. And instead of growing into that, stepping into that, and moving it from theory or a platitude or an affirmation into living this into expression, it's no different than, it's exactly as if we lived in a basement of a very large mansion kind of house. We're in the basement of a large, luxurious, beautiful house, and we're refusing to go upstairs or to the upper stairs or to the penthouse of this house because the upper rooms did not come to us, because these upper rooms did not come down to us. We're refusing to go up there, or believing or pretending to believe that they're not even there. So then where does it leave us? That this one causative, one yet unmanifested mind, which springs forth all manifestation, is principle based and inherent in and through each and every one of us. So this pure mind in us holds potential to move us through these deceptions, the deceptions into believing that we're bound in some way in the flesh or to a family system, or through the deception that we're being subjected to something, or the deception that anything or anybody has mental, moral, or social superiority to us. And through the deception that any trait of our character, even the more animalistic and instinctual ones of our nature, define us or confine us. Deceptions. So instead, how to live into the expression of much, much fuller potential. To use the spirit, our free will, the future, knowing that our future, my future, your future, is a succession of events based on ideas that are evolving in the mind and present. And whoever gets dependent on our own limited ideal is going to suffer. It's not going to be living as joy or living as love. So then it is in some way a waste of our power, a waste of our energy, a dissipation of our innate power, to say that instead, I'm going to use this force, this generative center. I'm going to speak from this causative, just generative spirit within me, ideas that move me in the direction of my own goals for my life, that move me in the direction of what I want to be about creating, not the parts that I want to be stuck in, so to speak. So this is a quickening of consciousness, a quickening of our inner conscience, and a quickening of consciousness that says, then I'm in alignment, I'm in atonement with that which is greater than myself. So just like I do not breathe myself, I do not breathe for myself, but rather God is breathing me. Pause to see if that's true for you. God is breathing me. God is breathing me. I'm not the breather. So just no different than I'm not breathing for myself. God is breathing in and through, as and for me, for you. We're also not living our lives of our own. Eckhart Tolle says it is, I don't have a life. Life has me. So my surrender to that, to join that, to feel the life, the life of life, the life of universe, the life of God, the life of source of creator surging through me, present in my systems, oxygenating the blood, circulating the blood, oxygenating the cells through all the organs, all the bones, all the blood, all the way of being. So then I can no longer then integrally speak about myself or a little me. I can no longer think and speak about myself alone, but instead I think and speak from that which is source, that which is living as me. Now, this can dissolve some apprehension, I hope. This can dissolve some of our worry and frustration and confusion and bewilderment that surrenders into the mystery of ourselves, the mystery of being a self, the mystery of the universe, which is my greatest spiritual practice, to accept the mystery of it, to align with the mystery of it, to behold the mystery of it. So we are undefinable. God's undefinable. So the I within me is also a great mystery. Certainly, God in the universe is a great mystery. So I'm a great mystery to myself. And I'm certainly a mystery to others. I bet some of you can relate to that. And as much as we're seeking other people to understand us, it's like we don't understand us either. It's like, well, they better understand me. They better respect me. It's like, well, I don't understand me either. So it's loco to think that somebody else is going to. So then I surrender to the mystery of myself and what it is becoming, the mystery of life itself and what it is becoming, the mystery of life, of how a plant will grow through concrete, how something without planting it in soil came up through the soil and bloomed. So then I can no longer conceive of things as problematic or problems, but more into conceiving the potential, the possibilities, the most high, the what's unfolding here, and to absolutely then use and to express my own innate inherent executive power of being only through the will of the divine guidance in me, through a cooperation, a collaboration, a causative generative partnership with source itself, true to the God nature in me, aligned with that. And this thought then becomes the working, this way of thinking becomes the working power of my mind, not just theoretically, but in devotion. In times of devotion, in times of pause, contemplation, reflection, surrender, atonement. So then this purer mind, this higher consciousness cannot be subject to lack in any form. Would that be okay with you? So as we take this into embodiment, as we take this into living this out, I invite you to claim the innate inherent power that you are. And then grow through, as you go through, grow through whatever your current situation or circumstance is. And to absolutely pause, present yourself as you proceed into living in a higher state of Christ consciousness. Today, this week, this season, this now, this eternal holy now. So I speak and know for you, for me, and for all of humanity that the will of God, the will of God, the will of the way of it is most, the uppermost in my consciousness. I invite you to speak that. The will and the way of God is uppermost in my consciousness. I am glorified through my understanding of this. I'm glorified through my application in living, my putting feet to this. Principle 5. My internal house is in order. My external house is in order. I move forward toward the goals for my own life. I move forward in an expanding expression of Christ consciousness. My zeal, my enthusiasm, my faith is tempered with wisdom, understanding. So I'm able to easily stay in balance internally, centered, atoned. I'm able to stay in balance externally in life, situations, work, family, the physical. The spirit of life as a Christ consciousness in me frees me from lack and limitations, from any notions of shame or guilt. I am and have the mind of Christ. My words are spiritually quickened. They come alive in me, and they live in me forevermore as I apply them. So then I'm renewed. I'm filled with more vitality, with vigor. I resurrect. Through Christ, this divine economy is active. It's in me. I conserve and preserve a spiritual essence in all the phases of my life and all the circumstances and situations of my life. And I rejoice in this. I rejoice in the restorative nature of life and the restorative nature of this consciousness. I rejoice in a mighty new consciousness that's present in me and now, mind, body, soul, and spirit. I accept it. I let it be. So be it. All blessings to you. Blessings and beyond blessings. MarthaCreek.com to contact me and join in any of the classes that are going on every Tuesday night this month. MarthaCreek.com to get the link, awakening, and finding our way back to joy, and not bypassing the pain of the loss. Richest blessings until we meet again.
Thank you, Pete, so much. Rings on his fingers, jingles on his toes. He will make music wherever he goes. As well as being very busy relocating up here. Okay, it's time for Unity's weekend update. And our first announcement is that there's a volunteer opportunity in the Namaste Cafe. If you want to help create a community on Sunday mornings by providing beverages and treats, please contact our own Lynn Weber, who is right here. Give us a wave. Thank you, Lynn, at 608-334-1161, or at, I think there's a slide for this, Martin, lweber653@gmail.com. Our own Jeff Nesta, is Jeff here this morning? Nesta, like Nestea, he said, is providing a Keep a True Lent series. The book Keep a True Lent. Classes are Tuesday evenings from 6:30 to 7 p.m. And for more information, please contact Jeff Nesta3 at gmail.com. for more information, or check the newsletter for more information, please. Our board and team have been busy lining up guest speakers for us. Next Sunday, we'll hear from Reverend Matt Jones. Sunday, March 27th, Reverend Michael Gott will be speaking to us again. And Sunday, April 3rd, Reverend Aubrey Lynn will be our guest speaker. Our garden team has an update. The greens are waking up and spring is just around the corner. Our optimistic garden team is meeting Saturday, March 19th to cut down the grasses before the new growth emerges. So please join us. I use us loosely, from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. If you can bring gloves and tools, please bring them if you have them. Stay tuned for more information from our garden team. If you have any questions, please contact Ann Zenner. Wave your hand high. Nancy Sundell, way in the back, or Joanne Ruzika. And you might want to have your Bengay and aspirin handy as well. There are many more activities going on at University of Unity at Unity of Madison. So please do check our website, unityofmadison, all one word, .org, for more information.